people going to do in heaven during the 1,000 years? In the Father's house. Well, let's read Revelation 20, verse 4. Who was left behind, by the way, on earth? Satan, his angels, and the wicked. The wicked all dead, right? During the millennium. God's people are in heaven, alive. On earth, Satan and his angels bound to the earth in a living state. The wicked are dead on the earth. So what are God's people going to do in heaven? It's going to be a working vacation. Revelation 20, verse 4. I saw thrones, and they sat on them, and judgment was committed to them. What are God's people going to do? They are going to judge. But immediately you say, now wait a minute, judge. They're going to judge. Who are they going to judge? Are they going to judge the righteous? No, the righteous are in heaven. Are they going to judge the faithful angels? The angels don't need a judgment. So who are the only ones left to be judged? Satan, his angels, and the wicked who have been left here on earth. Are you with me? Now, let's go to Revelation chapter 20, verse 12. This is the millennial judgment. Remember, judgment was committed to God's faithful people during the 1,000 years. Now, notice Revelation 20, verse 12. It says, and I saw the dead, small and great, standing before God. How can dead people stand before God? It says, I saw the dead, small and great, standing before God, and books were opened. How do the dead stand before God? The wicked dead. How do they stand before God? Through the books. Through the record in their books. They're not there personally, they're dead. But they're standing before God by the records that are in the books. And then I continue saying, and another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead, notice that they're not alive up there, standing before God's judgment bar. It says, and the dead were judged according to their works by the things which were written in the books. So what are we going to examine during the 1,000 years? Those who go to heaven. I'm planning on being there. What are we going to do? We're going to open the books and look at the records of the dead. They will stand before God through the record of their life, because God keeps a biography in heaven. That's what He's going to examine in the pre-Advent judgment and during the millennial judgment as well. Now, let's read Revelation chapter 20 and verse 5. The wicked will be judged in heaven. Satan and his angels will be judged by the righteous in heaven. Judgment was committed to them. And after this judgment is finished, then Jesus will return to the earth in His third coming. This time He will come with all His people. Are you with me or not? You say, well, where does the Bible say that? Go with me to Zechariah chapter 14, verses 4 and 5. Zechariah chapter 14, verses 4 and 5. By the way, what condition will the world be in during the 1,000 years? This will be a beautiful garden place to live, right? We're going to be uninhabitable. No one could live here except Satan and his angels. But no human being could live here. So that idea that Christ is going to come to this world and He's going to reign for 1,000 years, and this is going to be a beautiful place, and He's going to rule people with a rod of iron, they're going to be here in their mortal state, and so on, that's a fabrication. It's not true. God's people will be in heaven during the millennium, performing a work of judgment and reigning with Christ. The wicked will all be dead. Revelation chapter 20, verse 5 says that the rest of the dead did not live again until the 1,000 years were finished.